Hey guys, Little Moose wants to make sure that you understand that you've got to be very careful when observing the sun so that this doesn't happen to you and that you get a cracked filter. You can see how happy Moose is that all precautions were taken today. And this is just a demonstration. Good girl, Moose. Recently I found this hiding somewhere in my stuff that I have with astronomical equipment, which I have quite a bit. And I actually don't have the original that cracked from the sun. What you're seeing here, this outer shell is what I made, and this is the original, what I had way back when I was a kid. So I rigged this up. This filter I got from Edmund Scientific. They were 1.25 inches, just like you see here. They might have been a hair smaller, but they came just, you could buy these filters. And I had several, and make a long story short, I didn't know any better as a kid. I had this stuck up near the eyepiece, and one day I'm looking at the sun, probably a bit too long, and I wish I still had that filter, because in fact, when the damn thing cracked in 3 pieces, I glued it back together and still used it. But how stupid, huh? I'm surprised I can even see today. And so this is the exact filter. This is another one that I have. We're going to try an experiment today to see, when this is placed at the focal plane of my telescope, how long will it take for this thing to get to crack, if at all. Then, like I said, what I had at the time was a 4.25 inch f11 Edmund Scientific reflector. Echo, what's 4.25 times 25.4?
4.25 times 25.4 is 107.95.
Okay, and that would be millimeters. And so today, that's what my 4.25 reflector was. But today we're going to use a refractor that's 110 millimeters, which is essentially the same. And we're going to put this at the focal plane of that refractor, and we're going to see what happens to this filter. Now this was just some simple, I'm not even sure what this was, a piece of plastic, and I've got something in here to act as a shim, you can see. So we'll pull that out of there, and it's in there really snug, and you can see what I had designed here years ago to keep that in there. And then this fit in the draw tube or something, as I recall, right up next to the eyepiece. And then this is your filter. This is exactly the one that I got from Edmund Scientific. And here you see the diameter in inches. And let's go to millimeters. And there's your diameter in millimeters. Now here's the thickness in inches. And here we see the thickness in millimeters. Now I've come up with a very simple way to hold this filter. And as you can see, this is 1.25 inch to 2 inch adapter from astrophysics. And what I'm going to do very simply is just put this in here like that, and then just tighten this down just gently, nothing tight, and I'll keep it parallel. It's a little crooked here. Well, it's not too bad, but when I finalize that, it'll be parallel. Really doesn't matter. And so then this will go into the draw tube, and I will show you out at the telescope the setup that I have to capture on the other end here if it does break, and we'll look at that next. So again, I was just a kid at the time. I didn't know any better. Didn't have anybody else in the hobby that was older that could advise me. And so, like I said, by doing what I did, really looking back on it, is stupid. I mean, I'm surprised I can still see, because it was in my right eye. That was my predominant eye that I've always observed with most of the time. And obviously I moved real quick. But I will say, I think it's 11 years ago that I did have cataract surgery, and that eye was the worst. And in both eyes within 2 weeks. And the doctor did say that I was rather young to have the cataract surgery. So whether that was the cause of it, of course, when I worked out construction, I never really wore sunglasses. He did ask that, and I said I didn't, but one never knows. But you can't, excuse me, you cannot be too careful. When you're observing the sun, take every precaution. If you're a youngster, you seek your local astronomy clubs, read books. Do not point your telescope at the sun if you do not know what you're doing. So don't do like I did. Alright, so here you see the setup, the 110 millimeter refractor, and you see that I have a camera position. I'll do a close-up over here just behind where the solar filter is going to be placed, so we can kind of capture and see how long it takes for that filter to crack, if it does. Now here's a close-up of that area. Here's the small camera that's going to aim towards the filter. Here you see the 1.25" to 2" adapter, which I will place the solar filter in, as I showed previous. And then hopefully this camera that I have positioned here, aimed towards there, we'll be able to see how long it takes for that filter to crack. Now here I've got quite a cluster going on. I've got this, I don't know the exact number. This is from Manfrotto, Bogan, way back in the day, Bogan, Manfrotto today. And it's used to attach to light stands and different things. It's a big clamp that you can see here, and that allows you to put various, right now I'm using the 1/4" stud. You can reverse this, and it's got a 3/8. And so from there then I've attached this arm, and then that arm has the Nikon W300 on it, which again is aimed towards our filter. Now when I do this, I'm going to have the lens cap on, and then I'll pull the lens cap off, which will allow the sun then to come down here, and I have it here at the image plane, and I'll show you how I came to that. One of the things you'll notice, to get to that, I had to use this extension tube. It's an astrophysics extension tube, and I had to use that along with having it all the way out to get the image plane of the sun to where it was at its smallest diameter, and hence it would have its most energy at its perfect focus. So let's take a look here. I've got the lens cap off, and what I did is I took some microwave wax paper and I brought it, as you can see, there's the sun. And so basically what I did is I allowed the sun to focus to its smallest point that you see there, and that's where I'm going to be placing the solar filter. So let me put that lens cap back on. And I'll get this prepared to go. Alright, here you see that solar filter, as I explained, right at the image plane of the 110 millimeter refractor. Alright guys, camera 1's on. Let me turn on camera 2. And let me get it set. And okay, it's recording. Let me pull the lens cap on the telescope. It is off now. So far, not a thing. Wow. I'm gonna see if I can feel. Oh, that is hot as hell. Yeah, that's hot. Very hot. Yeah, I couldn't even. There it is. All right, I think I can get that out of there with that camera still attached. And there we see it. I want to see how that camera captured. And here it broke in two pieces. Now the one that I had when I was a kid, it actually broke kind of triangular. And as I said, you can see how that fits together like that. I actually glued it back together and used it. Isn't that something? So yeah, you can't be doing that. But this just shows that it doesn't take long. Because see, that actually fits together really good. Now obviously I could see lines, but I could still observe the sun. So anyways, there's today's lesson. Do not observe the sun unless you know exactly what you're doing and have the proper filtration and guidance. Alright, let me take this thing off so you can kind of see the contraption that I made. Or rigged up, I shouldn't say made. Here you see the extension tube, the astrophysics extension tube, which I had to have because the draw tube's all the way out. And over here is the focal plane where the image of the sun will be at its tiniest and most intense because it's right at the focal plane. So we did that. Well, actually the draw tube is not all the way out, but with the draw tube all the way out, it wouldn't get it, so I had to add this. And then here you see the setup that I had. Pretty simple. Just rigged up a couple things and made it work. Alright, next guys, we will take a look at the actual real-time video of the camera pointed at the telescope that was attached to the draw tube. It looks like it was 138 seconds from lens uncovering to when it cracked. Okay, it's recording. Let me pull the lens cap on the telescope. It is off now. So far, not a thing. Wow. That must take a lot of heat. I'm gonna see if I can feel. Oh, that is hot as hell. Yeah, oh, yeah, that's hot. Very hot. Yeah, I couldn't even. There it is. Okay, let me cover up. Okay, I covered up and you see it cracked. It was extremely, extremely hot.